More than a century, the Titans mysteriously surfaced a few years ago, consuming the majority of humanity. The survivors have constructed 3 massive concentric barriers to live in safety, but the times of today will be the last day of peace. Recap the attack on Titan live action. Part 1. Armin is the starting point for this voyage, and Mikasa discovering Eren near a deactivated missile in agriculture. The 3 fields are inseparable buddies. Eren has been let go from yet another position, and is sick of the life they've led. They're thinking how it would be beyond the walls and what lies on the other side. Mikasa on the other side inquires if that bird has ever witnessed the vastness of the ocean, and Eren inquires whether she wishes to see. The 3 advances are concealed behind the wall, among the ruins in an attempt to get closer, but the army forces are still there. They handle the situation with caution everywhere. Mikasa appears to have built a massive wall. Soren offers her his red scarf since he has the illness. The boy wishes to scale the walls in, even if Armin is opposed to it, but just as Eren made contact with the wall, several troops dashed towards. In an attempt to rescue them, they ended up battling some men and nearly being killed. They were shot for revolting, yet they survived. Captain Sauda, who ordered the rescue, saved the day. Military to leave the boys alone in Saudi Arabia is an Iranian family acquaintance who stated, as a child, he liked exploring the walls. Despite the fact that it was banned, he told the 3 children that the army would go outside the wall again. Falls after a lengthy period of time would be he has a new objective to conquer territory. Hoped they might live in peace wherever they went. They desired, but an enormous tremor occurred. Something appeared out of nowhere, slamming against the wall with force. Unimaginable colossus lurks behind it. Size looked to be far greater than the wall. He began kicking the wall's foundation. The youthful trio set out to bring it down, and the captain was forced to flee for safety. There was a lot of debris flying everywhere. Even if the strikes were directed by the captain, it was unavoidable with the cannons. The wall would mysteriously crumble. Supreme Colossus vanishes emitted. Yet there was a gap in the wall. There was also the fall of the 3rd, the Monzon district's outside wall. Titans began to invade through the fissure. The army attempted to launch rockets directly at the Titans and succeeded. Fire them down, but it was all for naught. They rise completely regenerated. The massacre was ruthless and savage. The Titans slaughtered troops in. These men picked the worst possible methods to shoot oneself in order to save themselves. The dread that the 3 buddies were heading to the village in order to escape the horde. As the Titans advanced on them, mayhem ensued. People were crushed in the streets. Eden and Armin were ripped apart whenever Armin went. In the middle of that, I became lost in the crowd. Mikasa was perplexed when he noticed a mother sobbing with her infant and returned to assist. Duran was frantic because he was being humiliated. People pushed me and I became imprisoned within. Mikasa was separated by a temple, with a newborn left alone and vulnerable. He tries everything to get off of her lap, there to help her, but the rest of he is prevented from opening the door by the gang. Then a Titan kidnaps Mikasa and the others. Baby Eren can't believe it and runs away. Titans violently rip the temple. Everyone within a bad situation. Eren is lost in a massacre. There was nothing but wreckage in that mayhem. Would it be the body pieces all over the place? 2 years after the final survived have passed since the 3rd came to an end. The farming region was abandoned due to the wall. Following the Titans' invasion, and everyone hid behind the middle wall in the Armin's commercial zone, and Eren are still alive and is presently a member of the Army Survey Corps Division. The commander of soldiers Kubble claims that everyone is prepared for the task to restore wall, for which they will employ the engineer-created equipment, and it includes the Commander Hang. Despite the fact that it is amplified mobility equipment, this item appears to be a little perplexing. Be critical in the battle against Commander Haynes of the Titans claims that the unit will join Captain Shishihima's crew. A scouting team arrived a bit later and they will go for the expedition around dark hours before retaking the outer wall. The moment of departure is quite terrible for the family. Members are bidding farewell to troops passing through the isolation bars. The troops then board the transport trucks close to the middle wall gate. The captain instructs them not to speak loudly because, despite the fact that the Titans they react to the environment while sleeping, they must be the sound of a human voice. The gates open totally silently and the trucks go closer to the zone taken. They are followed by the Titans, the wreckage for a considerable distance, but the skipper seemed to have seen something, impeding passage and issuing commands. He signals everyone to come to a halt. The troops to patrol the area's perimeter. There wasn't much in the region other than a few houses. Perhaps it was the cows grazing nearby. However, the skipper noticed movement. When the army hyena hears a baby scream, says she needs to find out what it was. It might be a youngster who was abandoned. As a result of this, she progresses alone in the darkness, pursues sobbing Eren, despite the fact that he is aware. As they look for the terrible idea, through the ruins of a building, The baby's noise came from A. Disgusting gunk falls on the hyena and infects it, so we can notice the baby's tight and high position. As if it wasn't enough, he stood over them, descends from the sky and begins screaming and writhing around, creating a loud noise. This sound wave will attract many people. Eren and hyena are titans from all sides. I needed to rush back, but it was too late. The titans quickly startled the squad. The captain was the first to be consumed by the vehicles, left a portion of the team behind. They are currently attempting to run towards the Armin Falls abandoned buildings, the manner in which a crawling titan seems. Tsunagi stops him from approaching him, grabs the arm of the colossal monster, and the team continues after deflecting their strike. Sprinting and nearly reaching, they come across another titan while construction. A soldier appears in front of them, firing his anchor from the shadows, flying through the walls with an thruster omnidirectional mobile, and he rapidly employs his swords to sever this being the back of the titan's neck. The only way to overcome them is to be precise and persistent. Devastating blow, but it's not over yet. Titan crashes through the buildings. Another enigmatic soldier arrives, using propulsion equipment, and rapidly slashes another titan. And there you have it. There was no question Mikasa was still there. Captain Shikishima is still alive and serving on his ship. Team Iron did not appear to believe that many people were injured or killed in the most recent assault has already collected in one of the Captain Shikishima's army hideouts. The general director goes to the bunker. It stored all of the bombs for it was time to input them into the task. Eren has a talk with the truckers. He asks the captain if the young guy has a desire to improve one's combat skills to the level of he was, and he didn't have to apologize for it. I despise the titans, but I despise dread flying. Approaching freedom, no longer simply a herd, confined behind a fence, safe from harm. Wolves, Eren has finally had his top discussion. Mikasa has completely matured throughout the years, altered, and hatred is in her eyes. Aren't they? Says he is delighted to see her, and she. Years ago, he was swiftly warned. Mikasa was viciously bitten by the titan, and the baby was consumed. Her sole objective is to eliminate every creature that, after being stopped, crosses her path. Iron was once again mocked by the captain's taunts, feels extremely worried, and begins. Outside, he is yelling, but he is cut off by a hyena, who scolds him immediately after. All of that commotion would draw a large crowd. Horde of titans. Well, the two began discussing the death of family members. When things began to heat up a little, Eren desired to be her father. Yes, daughter, but it didn't even give him a lot of time to think about it. A titan's strange eye loomed behind them. Eren is on the hunt for the monster, reaches within the structure and seizes hyena that has been devoured alive by a fresh horde of giants was on its way to Titan. Everyone begins between the buildings, using thrusters to escape the scene. The priority, according to Director Kubel, was to Mikasa, please protect the bombs. Captain Kashima annihilated many titans. Tsunagi swiftly uses his axe to sever the titan's heels and bring him down many times. Soldiers are being apprehended in the midst of the conflict. Captain Hang then recognizes the pandemonium, that the explosives truck is being transported. A soldier was kidnapped by a hooded stranger. Lil, who had lost her boyfriend in combat, was creeped out at the time, escaped and hurled an incendiary device at the truck, instantly climbed onto its roof. Able to seize control of the cloaked robber, she continued to battle the man until she eventually knocked him unconscious. But of halting the truck she desired. She sought vengeance for her boyfriend's murder, did not follow troop commands, and at full speed, he charged at the Titans. Everything is being flipped and blown apart, squandering the last remaining explosives. They were lost in the midst of a mob of Titans, but without the bombs. Eren is locked in a mission with Jean on it, a building's roof, and wishes to advance on the Titans, persuaded by. He then employs Captain Shikishima's remarks. He flies at the throng with his thruster. One of the Titans strikes his swords. The captain informs him that there is shatter in the air. He cannot dread them and must remain calm. Eren manages to fly towards the beast, must avoid many assaults and move quickly on the back of one of the Titans, yet it still needed to be finished. He resumes soaring with the grappling hook, hooks and strikes the Titans. Crucial. He had finally wrecked the blasted thing at this point. Nonetheless, his movement was erroneously estimated and ended up approaching another Titan's mouth that shredded his leg in the bite and threw her, captain of the dam, in hundreds of meters. Just ridiculed Eren and turned his back on it. Jean was discovered by the survivors' squad, still entrapped and encircled by many Titans, so Armin devised a strategy. Captain Hang used a flare to draw attention. Sasha then employs her archery expertise to struck the beardless Titan straight in the face. Tsunagi uses his axe to sever the. Jean was then able to grasp the monster's ankles, move and finish chopping the Titan. Armin inquires as the squad approaches. Jean, who lives in Iran, said his buddy is someplace on top of the world. Structures in total disbelief at that information, and in less than a second, Armin was caught as a result of that diversion. Lil hurled the bombs at the same Titan. The truck that crashed into the monster was undamaged. Eren, who is even more bloodthirsty, notices this. The Titan is preparing to devour Armin. Sasha attempts to fire numerous arrows at the Colossus, yet it doesn't even tickle him. Sanagi attempts but fails to implement a plan. The Titan regenerates in order to make a deep cut. Jean immediately dives for its head, and the sword snaps when it pierces the. This Titan appeared to have the skin of a monster. He's invincible and far more powerful than. Armin was already sliding among the others when he was possessed by the monster's tongue. Eren, who utilized his final strength, saved the day to help a buddy, but Eren had his arm chopped off and sucked alive down the river. That ugly thing's esophagus, and Irene fell right into his tummy, discovers a hyena inside, but she is already dead and being disintegrated by the team did not notice the monster's stomach acid. Anything else to do if it was still there? Feasible to flee that horde of Titans were being encircled by more people. And more. Armin demonstrates Mikasa Irons. It was only the severed arm that remained. She tells him that they have to continue the fight by killing them. She was left with just damn beasts. Leaps into the air, ripping another apart. Titan may be separated, but her propulsion fuel will soon be depleted. Runs out, leading Mikasa to collapse. The most harsh ground throughout the flight. Titan even attempted to approach her, but something seemed to be amiss with him. The Titan is going through something inwardly. Immediately erupts into thousands. Components emitted a wave of energy and showcasing a whole new Titan. This Titan has long hair and crimson eyes. Comes out punching other people. Creatures pounding on them along the road. The squad's leaders recognized that this new Titan's regenerative rate was incredible. He then engages in a lethal combat with the Titans who encircled him. Captain Hang is quite pleased to see everything. The annihilation of a Titan who battled. He annihilated all of them beside them. Sauda and the creatures surrounding him realized that was without a doubt the. Ren captures an enraged soldier Iran. Mikasa is in his hand, but he collapses quickly. Following that, an incredibly hot. The Titan, Steam, was impotent. Instructs them to open the rear of the, without causing harm to the creature's neck, into the cells before they are absorbed. Mikasa scales him and opens a door. He had a perfect cut on the back of his neck. A slimy cocoon was revealed, exposing a Ren regenerated, alive, and well. Captain Shikishima's cautionary remark.